C'était pour...
On savait bien que la BBC
C'était pour le cas où...
la première radio internationale et il suffisait que quelqu'un soit la première grande radio internationale et il suffisait que quelqu'un soit
Alors il y avait, justement quand on avait un poste,
il suffisait que quelqu'un soit dénoncé pour pouvoir avoir
alors il y avait, justement quand on avait un poste, il y avait personne, alors il y avait,
il suffisait que la première grande radio internationale
C'était pour le cas où...
et on
Servait du switch. Il était là. C'était pour...
il suffisait que la première
C'était pour le cas où... Servait du switch. Il était là.
Héros ressemble à son
C'était pour le cas où...
héros ressemble à son
Servait du switch.
héros ressemble à son
C'était pour le cas où...
héros ressemble à son
Servait du switch.
héros ressemble à son
Servait du switch. Il était là.
il suffisait que la première grande
C'était pour le cas où... Servait du switch. Il était là.
il suffisait que la première grande
C'était pour le cas où... Servait du switch. Il était là.
héros ressemble à son
C'était pour le cas où...
héros ressemble à son
Servait du switch.
héros ressemble à son
C'était pour le cas où...
héros ressemble à son
Servait du switch.
héros ressemble à son
C'était pour le cas où...
héros ressemble à son
Il était là. C'était
la première grande radio internationale et on
il y avait personne, alors il y avait,
suffisait que la première grande radio internationale et on
il y avait personne, alors il y avait,
suffisait que la première grande radio internationale et on
il y avait personne, alors il y avait,
suffisait que la première grande radio internationale
C'était pour le cas où... Servait du switch. Il était là.
personne suffisait que quelqu'un
C'était pour le cas où...
héros ressemble à son
Servait du switch. C'était
héros
pour le cas où...
seen the wild man. Reports of the progress of his lordship's illness arrive regularly at Newbury. And meanwhile, on the top of the state, the wild man continued to be seen. There came a day when Santa curious thing, curious thing, curious thing, curious thing, curious thing.
submitted by a listener to this series, but it is only one of thousands of such stories that are brought to the attention of those who concern themselves with the world of ink. And so it takes its rightful place in that vast body of evidence drawn from the lives of ordinary men. Evidence that the supernormals occur in spite of those among us who would disbelieve. facts of the case are so very strange, so hard to imagine, that one senses immediately they are not the products of imagination. On the morning after his return, Harry descended the stairs just in time to see his mother emerge from the parlor, closing the door quickly behind her. What's the matter?
Why, nothing, Harry. I simply went in, and when I saw Dorothy lying there, I broke down.
Dorothy Nichols was carried to her grave, and it was not until that day in August of 1876, 9 years later, that he had occasion to think seriously of his sister again. Successful, and at noon on the day in question, he went directly to his room, sat down to make out a report. A brilliant shaft of sunlight streamed through the window and fell across his desk. And then suddenly, a shadow came between him and the window. The shadow of a woman. Harry Nichols glanced up. His pen dropped from his hand. have never been questioned, tells us of an experience that fits into the category of the unexplained. It is difficult to question it. Dr. Hilbert was such a scientist, and his is the remarkable story of a man who journeyed into the past. Dr. Herman Hilbert is known to students of antique culture throughout the world. His book, Babylonian Inscriptions, is held in high repute. During that night in the spring of 1893, when the strange, the incredible thing happened. It was well past midnight, and he'd been sitting in his study for several hours, puzzling over two simple sketches that lay on his desk. At length, the door opened and his wife entered the room, inquiring gently,
Had you not better stop now, dear? It's getting very late.
Please, dear, I cannot stop until I've solved these two problems. A half hour passed, and then an hour, and still he sat brooding at his desk. Then, once again, the door opened behind him, and footsteps approached his chair. Dr. Hilbrecht turned angrily. My dear, I thought you were asleep by now. Won't you please? The doctor's voice trailed off into silence. For it was not his possible to relate them to our past life. But there are some dreams which are not so easily explained. Consider, for example, the dream of Mrs. Wilkie, a dream whose meaning could be unfolded only by the events of the future. It was also one night in the year 1855 that Mrs. Wilkie saw the name in her dream, the odd and unfamiliar name. Her husband, Mr. Frankie Wilkes, lay sleeping in his bed.
strange events, accounts of men who can read another man's most secret thoughts, who can even foretell the date of his own death. Here is one of those stories. It is the curious tale of an incident in the lives of two great religious leaders.
Emmanuel Swedenborg, the founder of the New Jerusalem Church, possessed occult powers, and no better proof of this can be found in curious correspondence which he carried on with that other great religious leader, John Wesley, the father of Methodism. It comprised only 3 letters, written within the space of a few short days. The first arrived in London on a morning in February 1772. I'm sorry, Miss Wesley, but there's a letter for you, and it's come all the way from Stockholm. Well, I know men in many parts of the world, but none of them I can think of. However, there's one there I'd like to know, Swedenborg. I've heard much concerning him lately. Well, this is remarkable. Listen. Sir, I have been informed in the... Shall be happy to see you if you will favor me with a visit. Emmanuel Swedenborg.
sai, io so già che libero, oggi forse tu sarai, guardati, sai, io so già che di domani o che vuoi, di domani e non puoi restare, di domani tu sei lì, di domani e non puoi restare, non puoi restare, libero e non puoi restare, di domani e non puoi restare, di domani e non puoi restare, di domani e non puoi restare, libero. Oggi forse tu sarai, guardati, sai, io so già che libero, oggi forse di domani e non puoi restare, di domani e non puoi restare, di domani e non puoi restare, libero.
The ship that Captain Brander commanded was a fine four-masted bark that made her maiden voyage in the year 1891. Here is a tantalizing account of a captain who could not abandon his ship.
The moment young Brander set foot on the Wanderer's deck, he knew that this was the he'd been dreaming of ever since his voyage. That he could have nothing more than to remain until the day. And for 5 years, then on a summer day, he sailed. The head of the shipping company for which he sailed was waiting to see him in an office in Philadelphia.
Yes, Captain. We figure you deserve the biggest and best ship we can offer you. So we're transferring you. You've taken your last voyage on the Wanderer.
In the years that followed, he commanded numerous vessels, yet not ever replaced the Wanderer in his affection. 11 years later, Captain Brander was spending a brief hotel in Liverpool. And it was there, at 2 o'clock on the morning of April 14th, 1907, that the strange thing occurred.
Good Lord! It's the Wanderer! What's he doing here?
Then, he saw an object looming abruptly through the fog. It was the bow of a steamer, and it was moving swiftly, blindly to the Wanderer's side.
In another instant came the crash.
He stood there helpless on the dock, watching the crew abandoning him against the vessel, watching the flames devour her, watching her settle forever beneath the waves. It was at the hotel breakfast morning that Captain learned the meat. He saw his wife suddenly put the newspaper she was reading aside with a strange, furtive gesture.
What's the matter, Mary? What did you see there?
All right.
Perché sono innamorato, 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 perché sono innamorato. Aspetto innamorato, aspetto innamorato, aspetto innamorato, aspetto innamorato, aspetto innamorato, aspetto innamorato.
More startling than these, however, is the strange and tragic story of a dog, Hamlet, whose awareness, whose perception, proved to be nothing less than superhuman.
Hamlet jumped up from his favorite spot before the fireplace and came bounding toward her. But the girl, this time, says to her room. And she said, right.
I know it will be a terrible blow. You will grieve. Even though I am dead, don't that you will hear from me again. Every night, at exactly 9 o'clock, I will try to come back.
A few miles away in the field, a young doctor was warming up, preparing to take off. He was to give Ruth Rockwell her first lesson in night flying. And at length she air, field. For she stepped confidence and went plunging toward me.
As the creator and producer of the Incredible but True series, it is not within my province to judge our stories. I report them as accurately and as faithfully as I can. And so, in this moving account of little Luigi Panoni, I offer you no conclusions. Make of it what you will. Ken?
They lived on the west New York, the Panoni family. Mother and son and grandfather. And they lived happily until they died today, shortly after Luigi's 4th birthday, when he was stricken with the dread paralysis gene.
It might have been better if he had died. He cannot see, he cannot hear, he cannot talk.
Mrs. Panoni consulted specialists, but one after another, they shook their heads gravely and explained that only a miracle could restore the boy's faculties.
That's what the doctors say about it. Only a miracle can make him well.
Father turned very red. After the family had retired, she heard a cry from Father's room. She moved from her bed and rushed up, and on the threshold of his room she found him lying. He suffered a stroke. His grief, the sorrow, had been more than he could bear. The weeks passed, and then, on a certain morning in August, Mrs. Panoni approached her father's bed and bent over him to kiss her.